I am extremely nervous about this episode, but ready or not, I am ready. Hey, Freedom Frugalers, it's time for another episode of Frugal Freedom, where I teach you how to manage both your time and your finances effectively. Doing both, you will sooner than later have the freedom you deserve. But you must understand that you gotta put in the work. Who am I? I'm your virtual mentor, Izzy, and today we are actually looking at my second screen here, where we have an actual budget. All right. Uh, a little bit about this budget. This budget is included in the free budgeting worksheet that I have for you guys. If you grab that, the link is in the description below. Uh, but please grab it. This guide has helped me and it will help you set up an easy way to budget and still manage to have fun, okay? Especially if you have a lower than desired income, looking to pay down debts, or even just figuring out how to justify your nights and weekends out. All right, we've used it to cover all the methods and tips that I have taught in the last 10 days. This is the 10th day. This is the last day for the No Discipline Budgeting series, okay? But everything that I have taught, this budget is based upon those methods, okay? If you want it, the link is in the description below. Now let's talk about some of the things that I thought about when I did this budget, okay? So I sat down and I wondered, what good is it that I teach budgeting but I don't show you how to actually budget, okay? And also, what am I looking for in a budget? All right. So with those two questions in mind, that is what came about. That is how this budget, came about. So I wanted you guys to see my face, but I realized I need my phone for some of my points that I'm making here. Okay. But nonetheless, I'm glad you're here. Here we go. So let's see. So this budget is based on the idea that I don't think that you should be um, paying. I don't think that you should be reviewing your budget on a monthly basis. I think you should be doing it according to your pay period. So if you look over here in the income section, I have 4 paychecks and then I have other income here. And that's based on that should be adjusted for if you are getting paid weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly. Okay, so depending on how frequently you get paid, this category, the income category, should be suitable for your needs. And I also created another category for just kind of like some random income. You know, you get some money from a friend or things like that. So you want to be counting that in, okay? So I took the liberty of filling it out for you a little bit. And I do want to say, for those of you who have grabbed the budgeting worksheet ahead of time as we were doing this, I do want to apologize. This is not what you'll see, but if you go back to the budgeting worksheet in your email, this should be updated by the time you go there. Okay, so with that said, that's the income section. Okay, so this also plays on the 6 cap budgeting method that you have also learned in this series. Okay, so we have our categories here. We have our savings and investments. We have our recurring debt that we want to pay off. We have our expenses. We have our fun. We have our charity and giving. Okay, so um here's what I like about this budget. Okay, so it's based on a weekly basis because, as I said, you want to be reviewing your finances every week and not every month. Okay, and that's the issue that I had with previous budgets, including the every dollar budget that I currently use. But um, I still put it in there because I want to put my budget in as many places as possible. So, without me ranting a lot about this, let me go ahead and tell you guys how this works. So, I took the liberty of filling out a few, but uh, the basis of it is all you would have to do is put in numbers, okay? So, if you want to use this as sort of a planning sheet, you do have the expected or what you plan on paying. But if you want to use this as you're doing it or as you're spending on a weekly basis, you do have uh, actual amounts, actual contributions, and how much you've actually put in for the week. Okay, so I give you 5 weeks because I do understand that there are 5 weeks in some months. Okay, so you do have a little bit of freedom in this budget. All right. With the exception of savings and investments, because savings and investments are particularly goal based. Okay, so I only put this in at the end of the month so that you can see a percentage overall of how much you put in. Okay, all right. So let's talk about it. So recurring debt, I put the max should be 20%. All right. So I have this little side note here, 40% for better results. Okay. So but what you'll see here in the actual amount is that the actual amount is based on 20%. So when you put in this income, if you're doing it projected, so right here we have paycheck one, $1,000, all the way to paycheck four for a total of $4,000. So our max amount that we can contribute, if we look here towards recurring debt, based on 20%, our max amount is only $800. Okay, but you'll see here, why does that say $979? Okay, so your actual amount is based on 20% of your actual uh uh income that you brought in. Okay, so once you put in your actual income, this will update based on your paycheck. Okay, so you'll see here our projected amount was $4,000. We actually had a good month and we put in $4,895. Okay, uh even though we lost a little bit on paycheck 3 that week, we still put in our excuse me, we still put in our we still got a good month out of it. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But we so it adjusted for 20% of the actual amount, and our actual max contribution that we can put towards it is $979.02. Okay, and that's 20% of $4,895.08. So how did I set this up? So basically, let's say with recurring debt, here's how it works. So you put in your debt amount. Okay, so I put that in here for you based on where you're at now at the start of the month. Okay. Then we say our minimum monthly payment. So we're gonna total up our minimum monthly payment for each category. So let's say this is a credit card. Debt one is a credit card, and we put in 5,000. We have $5,000 due on it for a minimum monthly payment of $100. Okay. Then we say we have maybe another credit card that's charging us, and that's $1,000, and our minimum monthly is $100. Or maybe that's a loan. Okay, maybe debt three is a credit card. You have $300. Minimum monthly payment is $25. Debt four is maybe another credit card, 270. Minimum monthly payment is $25. Okay, and so being that our max amount is 20% at $800, you'll see the total of all these minimum monthly payments is only $250. Okay, which means that we are well under the $800 contribution, which means that if we want to, which I would recommend, we can put about $650. Excuse me, we can put $550 more towards debt. Okay, so you'll see that I actually did that in the weeks. Okay, so this month only had 4 weeks. And this is the month of October. So we'll say the first week, guess what? We did the actual contributions. We our actual contribution for the week for credit card one and credit card two was exactly the minimum payment. Okay, so we paid $100 towards each. Okay, then we got our second check for a total of $200 paid towards debt that week. Okay, then our second week on those same cards, we should put here that we now owe $4,900. Okay, and right here we only owe $900. Okay, and that's based on your contribution and how much leaves it. Okay, but why I didn't do this as a mathematical equation is because, say for example, you run that card back up, you have to put in that amount if it hasn't changed, or if you've gone up just a little bit or paid a little bit more, you have to put that in. So it's a little bit of work, but I tried to make it as easy as possible. Okay, so we only owe 4,900 if we did everything and we didn't spend anything else. We only owe 4,900 on credit card 1, 900 on credit card 2. This week we took the liberty of paying the actual minimum monthly payment of credit card 3 and credit card 4, or debt 3 and debt 4. Okay? So we only paid $50 for the second week, all right? And as you're doing this debt paid for the month is increasing or decreasing, okay? Or increasing. It's going up based on how much you paid, all right? Week 3, however, we saw that we had a free month, and so we wanted to contribute the rest of our money towards this debt, okay? Well, what we could towards that debt. So credit card 1, we attacked it. Boom. We left it at 4,900, okay? But this time we paid $200 towards that debt. All right, so this is now back at 900. And what happened here on credit card 2 was we paid another 100 on it. And then we took another 100, paid credit card 3. And then finally, credit card 4, or debt number 4, we paid another $100 towards it. So our total debt that we paid for the month for week 3 is $500. Okay, which now means that we have paid a total of $750, which means that if we're doing this right, we can pay an extra $50. And if you see here in week 4, we did exactly that. So if we change this now becomes 800. This now becomes 4,700. Okay, and that also changes with interest. Okay, so if you're charged interest, you want to make sure that you put in the exact amount that you currently owe on that credit card for that week, okay, or that debt, okay? And that's a reason why I didn't do that as a mathematical equation, okay? So that's a little bit of work that you have to do on that end, but I promise you it's worth it. So in all for the month, and like I said, we only have 4 weeks. In all for the month, we've only spent $800 of our debt, okay? We were allotted to spend $979. Okay, so granted, we can pay a little bit more, right? We can pay a little bit more, but we kept it under our maximum amount. All right, and in actually, if you see here, our percentage of our income is based on the percentage of the income is based on the actual amount that you've made for that month. Okay, so you'll see here we've put 16.34% of our money towards debt, paying off debt. So is that 20%? No. Would I like it to be 40%? Yes. But do we stay within our budget? Completely and totally yes, definitely. Okay. So you see here, all we have to do is input some numbers. Now, what happens if we go over our limit? Okay, so we have a limit of $979. So let's say, you see here, we're in the green, okay? What will happen if you add another $100 or have to pay another $100, what happens is you now go, and I said $100, not knowing, forgetting that it was 979 allotted. So if I paid an extra $250 because I had to or because I wanted to, you'll see here, even though we paid 21% towards our debt, which is a good thing, we've now went over budget, and our debt paid for the month is now $1,050. But we go into the red, which means that maybe we put a little bit too much towards debt. In a good sense, we've put more towards our debt, but we might end up having to use that card again to pay for some expenses now, because now we're cutting into anything, everything else. Okay. So while it's good to pay off as much debt as you can, the goal is to not oversave and over pay off debt. Okay. Because if you overpay and you can't cover your expenses, you will ultimately go back into debt. It's inevitable. Okay. Uh, with that said, we're gonna move down to expenses, and expenses work the same way, guys. Uh, Expenses are the same thing. If you want to plan for it, you have a projection category for each week. If you want to, and then you can also use this for the actual. Okay, so but you'll see here, I have only 15 categories. Okay, I have only 15 slots for expenses. So my approach for this category was only based on categories. Okay, so it's more of a categorized approach. Like for every time I've said category now, but so what I mean by that is, instead of putting each actual expense that you've paid, because you have your bank statement for that, and work smarter not harder, um, we're looking for a more categorized approach. We're and that is maybe groceries. Instead of saying Walmart, then I went to Target, and then I went to this, just put groceries. Okay, what you spent in fast food, toiletries, your auto expenses, etc., etc. Okay, again, if this if your total is higher than the actual amount that you were allotted to spend, then you will see that you would need to adjust. And I have a note here that says, if higher than 70%, definitely adjust. Okay, so you want to be cutting out the expenses you can to get it between 30 and 50%. And guys, I'm excited to tell you, and I'm proud to tell you that I keep my expenses between 30 and 40% each month. Okay, so your actual percentage is based on the actual amount of income that you bought in. So if you paid exactly $2,447.54, which is 50% of your actual income that month, then you will see 50% of your income went towards that. And I understand life happens. That's why I say keep it between 30 and 50%. That way, if something happens, it doesn't hit you as hard. Okay? The next category is fun. Okay? Next, so based on the same thing. And I should put here fun, because fun for the month. I'm sorry, guys. I copy and pasted everything. And the reason why I didn't do this live is because I realized that I had to adjust this. Okay, so when I wrote this, I about 2 weeks into it, I realized I had to adjust it. Actually, as I was doing the video series, I was like, oh dang, we're coming up on this last day, and I have to adjust this. Okay, so I see now that looks like I have everything. And if I have to adjust this, I will adjust this. But the beautiful thing about it is the link will always be auto updated. Okay. So with that said, here we go. All right. Expenses, fun money works the same way. Okay. I got 15 fun items. Okay. You should be having fun, but you should limit how much you're having fun if you can't afford it right now. Okay, and it's only temporary, guys. I want you to be free, but I don't want you to always be stuck in the having fun mode, because if you're stuck always having fun and not taking care of your expenses, then voila, you're stuck in your rut. Okay, so the maximum amount we can spend on fun is $400 projected, because of the $4,000. But you'll see here, based on our actual amount, we can spend $489.51, and that's based on 10%. Okay, all of these are based on the maximum amount that you can spend on each category, or the amount that I recommend that you spend in each category. Okay, again, if you see this under, if this is under the actual amount, it will stay green. If it's over, you're having too much fun, okay? And you'll see your actual percentage. And then lastly, we have our charity and giving, which there's no overage when it comes to charity and giving, okay? So you'll see here I have three categories, which is charity 1, charity 2. If you have two charities, if you have more than one charity that you donate to, I recommend pick one or two and give to your heart's content. Also, I have a helping out, okay? Because friends are going to ask you for money. Friends are going to be in a tight bind. Your family is going to probably be in a tight bind. You have to decide whether or not you're able to help out. And if you are, put it here. Now, it does not mean that you track everything because you're asking for anything back. Whenever you give, you should only be giving if you are able to, okay? Don't give with the expectancy that they're going to pay you back, okay? In my experience, that's how a lot of my relationships and friendships have ended, okay? So I only give if I'm able to. And when I'm able to, I don't ask for it back, okay? But I do track it because that's money coming out of my pocket, okay? All right. So you'll see here, our actual amount that we can give is $244 for the month, okay? And if you ask me, that's pretty generous. But it doesn't have to be this high. It can be as high. I based it on 5%, but you can do as little as $1 to $2 per paycheck, okay? Not saying that that's what your go-to should be, but because if you can give more, then I would definitely recommend it, okay? All right. But you'll have a percentage of how much you've given for the month, and so forth and so forth. Okay. And that's about it. Okay. So that's really how it goes. Um, I will say here in the savings and investments, I want to actually go into it because this is a little bit different. Okay. So I want you to be calculating your previous month of savings. Okay. So last month, which would have been September, you would see I put here $1,000. Okay, so you would put in how much you saved last month, your actual amount that you saved last month. Okay, how much did you have in total? All right, and I'll probably have that change. Okay, but your cash. How much do you have in cash? No, I'm sorry, that's right. So $1,000, and that's between your savings and cash. Okay, that's the only thing that I'm tracking right there. That was my mindset for that. I apologize, guys. Uh, your cash, however, you want to put for this month how much you have in cash right now, and this should actually be the end of the month. Okay, so how much you actually have in cash. So at the end of October, theoretically, I have $100 in cash. Okay, investments, how much do you have in investments, including your retirement? Okay, and that's $200. Okay, that's just a random number. All right, your savings account, how much you have in your savings account. So how this differs is your previous month is your total cash and your savings account, a total of all of your accounts, checking accounts, savings accounts, and how much you have in cash. Okay, so with this, we want to put the actual amount that you project that you have in cash. Okay, and I know that's a bit confusing. If it is confusing, I'd be more than happy to further explain it. But how much do you project to have in cash? Okay, how much do you project to have in investments, and how much do you project to have in your investment account, savings account? And that all ties together because that gives you a total of what you should have by the end of the month. Okay. uh but when you come over here, we have goals. Okay, so like I said, this is more goal oriented. All right, so we're not focused on what we did the previous month. We're now focused on how much we want in cash. So if your goal is $500 in cash, you want to be putting $500, or how much you can contribute based on what you can do. Okay, how much do you want in your investments? And this is kind of for you. How much do you want in your savings account? Okay. So if this is all you can contribute, then that's all you can do. But to meet your goal, you want to be doing that. So, but you also have to see here that your maximum projected amount is only $400. And this is why I said at the end of the month, you want to be doing this, because at the end of the month, you'll see I place held $100 in cash. So we did that. $150 in investments, including your retirement. And then lastly, $200. And then we got some extra money from whatever that gave us $1,000. So at the end, we put $1,450 towards our savings account. Okay, savings and investments, which, but our actual percentage of that is based on our actual income. Okay, and that's why you see that there. All right, so you'll see we save 29.52% of our income, and that's neither bad nor is it's definitely a good thing, but it's not bad that we went over, because we are saving that money. Okay, or that money is going into investments to make us more money, and that's probably how we got that other. All right. um all right, so just a couple of points here. Okay, so like I said, if it is higher, if any expense is higher than the allotted amount, then you will see red, and you will need to adjust for your next pay period or for your next month. Okay, but if that total debt is less than or equal to what you're putting in, you will see what you brought in, you will see green. All right. This calculates your amounts based that you should spend based on your projected numbers. Okay, and it's based on the 6 cat method, and all you have to do is add in your income and expenses, guys. I think that this is the easiest budgeting method that you should be using, but it's also the most real life scenario based budgeting method that is out there. And I want to kind of show you guys, lastly, one more thing. Okay, one more thing is you get an overview of all that came in and all that came out. So if you're looking at this, you're like, okay, this is cool and all, but how do I see how much that I brought in versus how much I spent out? Okay, I don't care about percentages. I just want to see how much came in and how much came out. Okay, I got you. Okay, so if you look up here, amount that you any amount that you put in, it will calculate everything. Okay, so you have an overview of each category of how much you paid for the month, but then you come up here and it calculates all of it without you having to put in or do any calculations. Okay, uh and you can see that up here. All right, so we got our total monthly income and we got our total monthly outgoing, and that's based on how much you projected and how much actually came in and went out. Okay, so the goal here is to see for in an eagle eye view how much came in. So we brought in $4,895.08, which should coincide with your actual income. and our outgoing based on, because I did it according to our total debt. But say for example we did all of this, it's going to subtract each, and you'll see that we have $4,095.08 left. Okay, so if we do all of these categories and we find that this is in the negative, we now need to be adjusting and doing a lot to make sure that that stays there. If we find that this is at zero, okay, we maybe need to cut down some things, okay? But if we find that we have just a little bit of money left, we want to be putting it towards savings and putting it towards debt, and that's probably why you want to see zero as well. So even though we see zero, we don't, that doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It just means that if most of that is zero because of your expenses, you maybe want to cut your expenses down. But if you see savings, investments, or debt making that zero, then you're doing the right thing. Okay. And uh the final thing is, this will help you get more positive within your net worth. Okay, so if you have a negative net worth, you want to be in the positive. Okay, that's my whole goal. Okay, I'm close to it, I promise I'm close to it, but I just want to see a positive net worth. Moreover, I want a big positive net worth. Okay, which basically means that I have more than what I owe. All right, so, with that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. This is the end of the supposed live series, budgeting work, no budgeting, no discipline budgeting. This is the end of that. Okay, so I'm really excited for you guys, and I'm so glad if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. Okay, I hope that I have been an asset and a blessing in your life. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I am also on my website, uh, 8ivisions.com/frugal freedom. And you can also reach out to me via email. That would probably be the best way. But you can reach out to me via email, and that's at Izzy made that, IZZYMADETHAT at gmail.com. Izzy made that at gmail.com. I will be more than happy to help. And even though this is the end of the series, the live series, that does not mean that I will not continue to teach you guys things on budgeting. Uh, it will, I will be adding more videos, but this is the conclusion of the series. Okay, and the live series. All right. With that said, I will be posting videos every Friday between at either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. for finance, and I will be doing wellness videos because I've done a couple of finance videos. So I want to teach you guys how to be more productive and also just your overall well-being so that you become a free person. So I will be doing wellness and productivity videos every Wednesday, and I will be doing finance videos every Friday, and that will be either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. Okay, so it coincides with my 8i Visions brand. Okay, so with that said, that's all I have for this video, guys. I hope this really helped you guys. This is in the budgeting worksheet. But if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification, and comment down below if you uh, found this budgeting tool helpful. Be sure to use this to your advantage, okay? And also, if you want to duplicate this for another month, all you have to do is right click the tab and duplicate. All right. And then you can change to whatever month you're in. Okay. But if you do use this, let me know if it helps you in it, or if you have any questions or need any further help. All right. If you have any other topics that you would like me to cover, I'm happy to see those below as well. Okay. Before you go, please get a copy of my budgeting worksheet sent directly to you guys. Until then, I will see you in the next video, right? We'll see you next Friday for finance. We'll see you Wednesday for a productive video. All right, guys. Until then, stay frugal until you're free. Peace.